What is going on, you guys? NASCAR EJ coming to you once again from the NASCAR Tube after this wild race at the Daytona 500 and after a full 2 weeks of Speedweeks in NASCAR. Joey Logano got the job done for the Daytona 500 along with Tyler Reddick that won the truck race with Brad Keselowski Racing. Ryan Reed won the Xfinity race with Jack Roush, and now Joey Logano wins his first Daytona 500 with Roger Penske. And if you wanted to see a good race, Friday night's truck race was one good race. You had truck pileups everywhere. We had wrecks after wrecks after wrecks, and ended up still being a really good finish with Tyler Reddick pulling the job down. And just amazing how well these new truck drivers come up into the ranks. There's so many new guys out there racing every single weekend, and it's just so talented. And I really think we're going to see a high level in the next 5 years. We're going to see a lot of the rookies come out of the truck series, and I'm really thinking that they will really shine in the next few years coming over to Sprint Cup. Enough of the news that we had actually before the Daytona 500. Busch brothers really kind of shook the NASCAR world with Kurt being suspended indefinitely for actions detrimental to stock car racing. Not good for Kurt. I will express a little bit of that, my opinion, but yeah, I'm afraid I'm afraid this is the end of his career, and I hate to say that about the guy. He looked like he was really turning himself around, and what we saw in interviews, but apparently there were other things going on behind doors that we didn't see, and I kept thinking to myself, is NASCAR doing this to kind of get a leg up and to kind of say, hey, we saw what happened in the NFL last year with Ray Rice and the whole situation there. It kind of makes me think, is NASCAR being a little, okay, look, this is what we got to do before this gets out of hand. And I'm thinking that's what NASCAR probably did. And as for Kyle goes, that was just kind of an accident, I guess. That was a horrific wreck, and that's just something you don't see. And I know NASCAR announced the other day that they were going to put safety barriers on every single inch of Daytona International Speedway, and I'm looking forward to that being seen done at other tracks, including Talladega and maybe Michigan high-speed track, or Atlanta maybe. You're talking high-speed tracks. In any way they can get turned one way and straight into a wall, that needs to be fixed, and that needs to be taken care of. But we wish Kyle luck, and hope we see him on the track coming up in this near soon future while he recovers from his lower leg fracture and his foot fracture. And if you weren't aware, Matt Crafton took Kyle's spot in the number 18 Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, and Regan Smith took Kurt's spot in the number 41, and that is actually an intern position right now, and he will also be racing that car in Atlanta this upcoming week. And speaking of Regan Smith, he was actually on his roof in the Xfinity race on the front stretch prior to the big wreck with 9 to go. And getting to the finishing order of the Daytona 500, we all know that Jeff Gordon started on the pole of this race, and he actually finished 33rd. Joey Logano finished first. Kevin Harvick followed in second. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Denny Hamlin, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Mears, Clint Bowyer, Martin Truex Jr., Casey Kane, Greg Biffle. That was your top 10. David Gilliam was in 11th. Sam Hornish Jr. followed in 12th. Michael Annett, Austin Dillon, Eric Almirola, Regan Smith finished in 16th with the filling in for Kurt Busch. David Reagan finished 17th. Matt Crafton filling in for Kyle Busch finished 18th. Johnny Sauter finished 19th. AJ Allmendinger finished 20th. Danica Patrick finished 21st. Cole Witt, Carl Edwards finished in 23rd. Bobby Labonte, Paul Menard, Michael Waltrip, Jamie McMurray, Ty Dillon finished in 28th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. finished in 29th, and Trevor Bayne followed out your top 30. Michael Annett finished 31st, Reed Sorenson 32nd, Jeff Gordon finished 33rd with getting in the last lap wreck. Kyle Larson, Matt Kenseth, Mike Wallace, Justin Allgaier, Ryan Newman, Ryan Blaney, J.J. Yeley, Brad Keselowski, Tony Stewart, and Landon Castle finishing out your 2015 Daytona 500 finishing order. Now, going back to the Daytona duels on Thursday night, we did see some drama between Danica Patrick and Denny Hamlin. And I want to give my take on that just for a moment. Before, in final practice for the duels, Danica was in front of Denny in the drafting pack, and Denny kind of got into the back of her and apparently knocked her loose. Same thing happened at the duels Thursday night in turn 3. Denny was on her trying to push her towards the front. Danica didn't like it. Danica come to him later and says, "Why did you put me in the wall? That's not, or spin me out rather." And Denny says, "I'm trying to help you. We've got to get up to the front. If I don't push, we're just going to fall straight back." And I see Denny's point here. And I really look at it in exactly the same way as I saw in the Unlimited with Logano pushing Harvick to the front. I see the exact same thing happening. It was in the same area as well. And for some reason, I don't know if it's how the wind's blowing, but if they touch that left rear quarter panel of that car just a hair, or maybe even get beside it, it throws wind to the car and it will turn it around. It makes it extremely loose. But I really saw that was really the reason it was happening, and I don't blame Denny at all, actually, and I just believe he was trying to help. But I see Danica's disappointment, and I see her frustration with that, but I also see Denny's as well, and I believe Denny I think he was doing what he had to do, just like I saw Joey in the Sprint Unlimited. So I'm going to take a minute here to talk about Jeff Gordon and all what he's accomplished. I think we owe a little bit of time for him. 23 years of racing. This is his 23rd year in NASCAR. And, you think 23 years, Joey Logano that won the Daytona 500 Sunday is 24. So, Jeff Gordon has been in the series ever since the current Daytona 500 champion has been alive. Period. And I'm 20 years old, and I grew up watching NASCAR. And, everybody liked the 24 car. Growing up, I tell you right now, I was not a Jeff Gordon fan. I was a Mark Martin fan when I was little, and Dale Jarrett. Like now, I don't really have a favorite driver, but it's crazy to see how well Jeff did. And I'd really like to see Jeff get a Sprint Cup trophy. I know we don't have one. He's won it in the Winston Cup Series, but not currently in the Sprint Cup Series. And I'd really like to see Jeff win another championship. And the guy is really pushed himself, and he ain't going anywhere, I don't think. He's still in NASCAR. He'll still remain in NASCAR for a while. He'll have a permanent spot at Hendrick Motorsports somewhere. You're not going to see the end of him. And we already know he's going to run some races, and I look to see him do some fill-in driving and some things before he completely goes out of NASCAR. And if he ever goes out, I'm not even thinking about him going out of NASCAR. Even if he gets older and he can't drive anymore, he'll still be at Hendrick Motorsports doing something with Rick. I really look forward to seeing Jeff go out with his final run, and really, in a way, I don't look forward to it because I can't really see myself watching a race right now without Jeff Gordon on the track. It's just kind of one of those things. You always see that 24 car on the track, and I can't really picture anybody else in it but Jeff Gordon. And it's crazy to think that he's actually going out, and this is his last season. So the question I want to ask this week is, what do you think at any of these tracks that we go to, what kind of safety improvements can we make on these tracks? Do you think we should put safety barriers all around the track, or do you think or just for certain tracks? I mean, you tell me. You tell me in the comments below, and I'm gonna leave it there. And I would appreciate if y'all gave me a like on this video. Share this video if you want people to see it. I mean, I want this channel to get out there, and I want people to see this channel. And Atlanta's next week, so we'll have that race, and we'll have a video up early next week. And like always, y'all have a nice night.